Have you ever received a suspicious link in a group chat with friends and thought, it's probably nothing? Well, young Kaname Pseudo thought the exact same thing. Except in his case, clicking that icon didn't result in a phone virus or a WhatsApp freeze. It resulted in an instant death sentence and a one-way ticket to the bloodiest game in manga history. Welcome to Darwin's Game. It all starts in the dark streets of the city, in a heavy atmosphere of pure terror. We see a desperate young man running as if death itself were on his tail. Out of breath, cold sweat dripping down his face, he clutches his phone with trembling hands. The despair in his voice and eyes is palpable. He tries to use his last points in the game's app to call a friend for help. He types, calling out for Kaname, but it's already too late. In the blink of an eye, without even seeing where the strike came from, the boy is sliced in half out of nowhere. The only thing left on the ground is a bizarre dark stain, a pixelated and grotesque outline, as if his very existence had been deleted from reality. While this tragedy unfolds in the dead of night, our protagonist, Kaname Pseudo, is just an ordinary high school student with no idea of the hell about to crash into his life. He's in the classroom, hanging out, chatting with his classmates about everyday nonsense, when his phone vibrates. It's an email notification from his friend Kyoto. The subject line simply reads, "Please help me. Just an invitation to some random mobile game, right?" Kaname finds it strange, but driven by curiosity and the desire to help his friend, he clicks the link for the app called Darwin's Game. The smartphone screen glows. The interface loads with 3D artwork of a snake. And then, my friends, the surreal happens. Without any warning, the snake from the app literally emerges from the phone screen. It lunges into the air, takes physical form, and strikes straight for Kaname's neck. The boy freezes in shock. His eyes widen in sheer terror. Before he can even scream, the snake bites his neck, carving a mysterious mark into his skin known as a sigil. The pain and psychological shock are so intense that Kaname blacks out immediately, collapsing onto the classroom floor in front of everyone. When he wakes up, the school nurse assumes he just suffered a delusion or a high fever. Kaname tries to convince himself of that too. It was just a hallucination, right? Snakes don't crawl out of phone screens. But doubt begins to gnaw at his mind. The atmosphere of uncertainty and paranoia grows by the second. To make matters worse, he discovers that the friend who sent the invite has vanished without a trace. Determined to understand what is going on, Kaname catches the train back home. And that's when the real nightmare begins. The phone beeps again. A countdown appears on the screen. Time remaining until match starts. The timer counts down. 3, 2, 1. Start battle. The app finds a nearby opponent for him. The rival's name appears on the screen. Bandakuen. Kaname looks at the screen, confused. Bandakuen? Isn't that the panda mascot for the local baseball team? He lets out a nervous laugh, thinking it's some kind of elaborate joke or game feature. But when he looks up and scans the train car, the breath catches in his throat. Sitting just a short distance away in the very same car is a guy dressed head to toe in the panda mascot costume. But there's nothing cute about it. The panda is holding a massive, sharp, silver kitchen knife. The eyes of the costume seem to stare at Kaname with a sadistic, murderous emptiness. The psychological contrast here is brutal. On one side, an ordinary, helpless high school kid in a uniform who just wanted to go home. On the other, a masked panda maniac ready to chop him up for points in a mobile app. The timer hits 0, and Bandakuen stands up. The mascot charges with insane speed, raising the knife to land the first blow. Kaname's survival instincts instantly go into overdrive. His heart races a mile a minute, blood running cold in his veins. He uses his school backpack as an improvised shield to block the blade, which slashes through the fabric with violent force. Kaname's mind shatters. This isn't a virtual game. If you die here, you die in real life. There's no pause button, no saving your progress. The pain is real, the blood is real, and death is final. Overwhelmed by panic and pure adrenaline, Kaname kicks the mascot and bolts down the train car. He runs frantically through stations and corridors, trying to escape the bizarre figure pursuing him relentlessly, like a monster straight out of a slasher horror movie. The real genius of Volume 1 of Darwin's Game lies precisely in this psychological transformation of the protagonist. Kaname isn't a fearless superhero. He's an ordinary kid who feels afraid, who trembles, who cries out in despair, but strictly refuses to die. As the hunt continues, he realizes he has to use his head if he wants to survive this nefarious game. It's in this setting of urban hunting that we discover the mechanics of sigils, special supernatural abilities granted to each player after being bitten by the apt snake. Some gain invisibility, others extreme strength, or chain manipulation like the formidable and undefeated Shuka, the undefeated queen who dominates the game's arenas with her deadly chains. Kaname doesn't even know what his own sigil is yet, but he has to face the killer mascot using only his wits, reflexes, and raw will to live. The atmosphere of constant tension, and the feeling that the entire city has turned into an invisible coliseum where ordinary people walk around completely unaware of the killings happening around them. A police officer is violently slashed across the neck inside an office, blood splattering everywhere. On the floor lies a bloody knife, and hovering right over the scene is a terrifying figure wearing a giant, smiling panda mask. This isn't a video game anymore. It's a real-life, blood-soaked battle royale, and high school student Kaname Sudo has just been thrown straight into the deep end. Kaname is sprinting through the quiet streets, heart pounding against his ribs, sweat dripping down his face. Behind him is his stalker, a guy in a dirty, blood-splattered baseball mascot costume known as Bandersnatch. But here is the terrifying part. This killer can literally turn completely invisible. 1 second he's charging at you with a hunting knife, and the next second he vanishes into thin air. Imagine the psychological sheer panic. Every creak, every shadow, every echo in the alleyway becomes a potential blade to your throat. Kaname can barely process what's happening. Is it magic, alien technology, or a living nightmare? Desperate and gasping for breath, Kaname ducks into a dimly lit multi-story parking garage. While ducking behind parked cars, his phone vibrates. A message pops up from a top-ranked player named Shuka Karino, a famously deadly girl known as the undefeated queen. She's watching his fight in real time through the app and sending cryptic hints. "You're going to get killed at this rate. Should I help you out?" Kaname's mind is racing. Can he trust a total stranger in a game where everyone is out for blood? But amidst the rising horror, something flips inside his brain. Kaname realizes that panicking will only get him slaughtered. He stops running. He forces himself to calm his heartbeat, taking deep, focused breaths, and starts analyzing the environment. He notices subtle clues. The squeak of shoes on polished concrete, dust shifting on the floor, and reflection changes in the car windows. The invisible killer relies on surprise. But invisibility doesn't make someone a ghost. Using the tight spaces between vehicles, Kaname sets a trap. As the unseen stalker lunges forward with his knife, Kaname reacts with pure survival instinct. He dodges the strike, tackles the mascot against a car, and forcefully strips away the bloody panda head. What he sees underneath completely shatters his mind. It's not some random psychotic killer or hardened criminal. It's Kato-sensei, the school counselor. The exact man who was supposed to offer advice and support to students is now trembling on the floor, holding a bloody knife. The psychological revelation hits Kaname like a truck. The sinister lure of Darwin's game can turn ordinary, respectable people into ruthless monsters desperate for points and survival. Kato-sensei breaks down in tears, crying and begging for his life. Miles away, sitting comfortably on a train, Shuka Karino gazes at her phone with a sinister, intrigued smile. My, he won without even using his sigil. Well done, Kaname. Alone. Back at his apartment, Kaname tries to digest the insanity. Suddenly, the doorbell rings. It's the police, investigating the strange disappearances in the area. Meanwhile, the true horror of Darwin's game expands beyond individual duels. In the dark underbelly of Shibuya, ruthless clans wage war for territorial dominance. We see the terrifying emergence of the 8th clan, led by the sadistic psychopath Wong. These aren't just players trying to survive. They are brutal syndicate monsters who butcher rival gangs, dismember victims, and laugh while swimming in blood. The video flashes through horrific scenes of decapitations, masked street fights, and cold-blooded massacres, showing just how merciless this underground world really is. Kaname is now caught right in the middle of this chaos. To survive, he can't remain a victim. He has to adapt, evolve, and unlock the true potential of his own sigil. But a new danger is already looming over him. Shuka Karino, the deadly queen herself, has set her eyes on Kaname, riding through the night, eager to test his strength in a high-stakes duel. Will Kaname survive his next battle? Or will he become just another erased memory in this ruthless game of evolution? Stay tuned, because the real nightmare of Darwin's game has only just begun.